So this is basically a response video to a video that I made 2 weeks ago where I was just sort of talking about my personal list of sauna rules, basically my list of do's and don'ts for the sauna. It was like a pretty standard video, nothing too groundbreaking. And so anyway, I did a bunch of these little rules, like well over 10, and in my final rule, I basically said, so actually this wasn't even a rule, but for my final rule, I basically gave a tip, and I said, my number one tip for using a sauna is to run, to sprint to a shower the second you're done. And the reason for this, I said, is because when you're in the sauna, you are going to sweat out a bunch of toxins. These toxins are then on the skin, and if they remain on the skin, they can be reabsorbed into your skin. So in order to counteract this from happening, to avoid the toxins reabsorbing into your skin, thus counteracting all the good work you did in the sauna, I say run, sprint to the shower, wash away all those toxins, and you'll be good to go to get on with your day. And this is a practice that I do every single time I use the sauna, and I don't really think too much of it. Little did I know that making this video, the comment section would go crazy, calling me misinformation, calling me an idiot, all of the above. And my initial response was just like, I'm just so shocked. I thought, wow, I cannot believe that there are people out there who don't think that toxins come out of your body when you sweat. And to me, I was like, yeah, anytime you sweat, like it smells, it's toxins, like your armpits, the BO, like that's toxins getting released from your body. Anyway, I just thought this was common knowledge, but I guess people disagreed with it. So I went ahead and did some research, and that's what this video will be about. Now, to be fair, and this is actually incredibly shocking to me, but if you were just to Google something along the lines of, do we sweat out toxins? You will shockingly come across a large amount of research and Google front page articles saying that we do not sweat out toxins. So that was just mind-blowing to me that that's what it says on Google. That's like the mainstream advice, because I guess I often just don't really listen to the mainstream advice, so I don't really know what the mainstream advice is. But apparently the mainstream advice out there is that our sweat doesn't contain toxins. So I guess there's no point of sweating. I guess that's what they're going for. So if you were to Google, do you sweat out toxins? This is the first thing that will come up. The purpose of sweating is not to purge your body of toxins, but to cool it down through evaporation. Sweat is 99% water and contains only very small amounts of salts, urea, and carbohydrates. So this, of course, is what you're gonna get if you were to Google that in the front page of Google. And like most things when it comes to health, if you go based off of the front page of Google, you are probably going to have a bad time. If you listen to Google, you're gonna think that seed oils are healthy, sunscreen is good, red meat is bad. The list goes on. So to me, it's important to move past the front page of Google and, do your own research. I know that doing your own research may be frowned upon these days, but I like to do my own research. So here is the first relevant study that I have been able to find on the subject. Physiologists have long regarded sweating as an effective and safe means of detoxification, and heavy metals are excreted through sweat to reduce the levels of such metals in the body. This study was done on 6 men and 6 women. They basically analyzed the sweat from sitting in the sauna as well as exercising, and they measured the concentrations of nickel, lead, copper, arsenic, and mercury in the sweat. These are, of course, heavy metals that we do, in fact, sweat out of our system. Class dismissed? Well, I can actually keep going. So here is actually another chart that I found from a separate study. This chart shows the difference between how we eliminate metals from our system, basically comparing how we do it through urine versus through sweating. So we can see here that some metals are detoxed more through urine, whereas others are detoxed more through sweat. And that light just went off behind me, so I have to replace the battery. Bear with me. If you haven't noticed, that's my new cold plunge light, so that just makes everything blue. You know, I figured it was a nice upgrade to the studio. And we're back. So anyway, we can see here that this chart shows sweat to be much better at eliminating cadmium, nickel, and lead, amongst others. So yeah, sweating is crucial for eliminating heavy metals, and according to the chart, it's even better than your bladder at eliminating most heavy metals. So once again, it is so important to sweat, especially that full body sweat that, in my opinion, can so easily be achieved using a sauna. Now, I guess if you're still watching this video and you still want to be one of my many haters out there in the world, because allegedly there is like a whole scientific debate on this exact topic, whether or not there are toxins in our sweat, and I know that this video isn't going to really do anything in the sea of scientists with their opinions on this subject. But anyway, if you want to be one of my haters out there, the one thing that you can maybe claim is, well, Mike, you said that sweating eliminates toxins, and so far you've only showed that sweating eliminates heavy metals. To which I will say, fair enough. So to combat that, I have found yet another study. Thank you, Dr. Rhonda Patrick. Other studies have found that phthalates are excreted through sweat, and sweating from saunas or other exercise may be a good way to eliminate these potentially harmful compounds. And the study basically showed that when they measured the sweat from various people, they found phthalates in all of them. On average, MEHP concentration in sweat was more than twice as high as in urine levels. Induced perspiration may be useful to facilitate elimination of some potentially toxic phthalate compounds, including DEHP and MEHP. For those unaware, phthalates are chemicals that are often found in plastic. They can lead to cancer, they disrupt our immune systems, they disrupt our hormones. They're just really bad, and we don't want them. So ultimately, yeah, they're terrible for us. And as per this study, it has been found that phthalates are present in the sweat. So of course, it is incredibly important to sweat out the toxins or phthalates. So anyway, this is really all I have as far as hard science, but I'm sure if you keep digging, they'll be able to find more things in our sweat that we probably don't want in our body. And you know, of course, just anecdotally, I feel like I didn't even need any of these studies to actually prove my point. I know that for me, when I'm in the sauna and every single pore is open on my body and all the sweat is just dripping out, incredible things are happening for me, psychologically, physically, mentally. Like, I just know that on a primal level, I am detoxifying, I'm getting rid of water, I'm getting rid of electrolytes, I'm getting rid of just everything, and I'm replacing them. Well, as I would always say, make sure you bring water into the sauna with you. I put a little salt in my water, and I'm just replacing all of that and putting all good things back into my body. And it's really just so crazy to me that we live in a world where there's people that don't actually even want to believe that sauna can detox you. I guess like it's almost like they don't want to have to do anything because like they want to like almost ignore how good saunas are for you to like justify their laziness. I don't know why anyone in their right mind wouldn't want to use a sauna. But anyway, like all things health and science related, I'm sure people can go out there and they can find studies and they can find Google searches that will disprove every single thing that I've just said in this video. But this is, of course, what I believe, as well as many others who are just out there leading healthy lives that just may go against the conventional big pharma Google science that exists out there on the internet and all these mainstream health influencers. So use those saunas, use them a lot, and make sure you run to the shower or the cold plunge immediately when you are done and wash away all those toxins from your body. Boom. This is the Cold Plunge Podcast with me, Mike Gorman. Be sure to check out the video version of this podcast on our YouTube channel and check the show notes for any references, studies, or links to anything I spoke about on our website at plungereviews.com/podcasts. If you have a question you want answered or comment about the show, feel free to reach out in our official Facebook group, which is called Cold Plunge Community.